Oh, we have to do the intro. Give me 1 second. Oh,
I gotta slide in.
Oh yeah. Oh, don't know. Okay, there you go.
I slid the wrong way.
I did too. It's okay. It's whatever.
Yes. Okay. So let's go over some of these questions and stuff that you guys came up with. So there was a couple things that I wanted to talk about specifically, and we're going to do those because guess what? I make the decisions. Well, not like between you and me, just like
deleting the channel.
I mean, we make the decisions, not them.
Not the audience. Yeah.
So the first thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about the 2 new classes that are going to be play tested for the next Pathfinder 2nd edition book. So
do you know what they are?
No. Do
clickbait.
You?
No.
Yes, clickbait. Yes. Clickbait. No. What we have to do is we have to put really big, like 2 new classes.
Confirmed.
Yeah, confirmed, right?
But yeah, it's confirmed. There are 2 new classes. That's what we said in the title. It's not clickbait.
Yeah. So, okay, I have my suspicions. I'm curious of what your thoughts are.
Okay, so I was asked this on Discord before, and what I was asked what I want to see, and I specifically said I want to see a gunslinger, and I was told, and I haven't had the opportunity to independently verify this, mostly because I don't want to, because I want them to be wrong. But I was told that the gunslinger wasn't coming till 2022. That's what I heard. Again, grain of salt. This is not coming from a well-researched place on my part. So if you want to understand more about that, I highly recommend you look into it yourself. But the reason that I want to see that specifically is because I expect Gunslinger to also introduce guns, right? Which is, I expect is going to be a whole new category of weapons with its own like critical stuff, with its own traits, hopefully adding new traits. I think that would be interesting. Although maybe they don't need any now if you think about it like hard enough. But suffice it to say, I think it'll be interesting to see how they implement a new category of weapons, whether or not it's actually like a revolutionary thing with like a whole ton of new features and mechanics. That's neither here nor there. It's really just, I want to see how they do that. I want to see how they take the game that they have now with all the weapon variety and implement something new. And so that's kind of why I want to see that. I don't really have any other like thing to get me excited. You know what I mean? Like I'll take any class really. Sure. Beyond that's kind of where I'm at with it. What about you?
So I'm whoever you were talking to. I'm in belief of them and not you. Because
I buy it.
From the interview that we did with Jason Bowman, and we brought up Gunslinger, I think that they are very, 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 very hesitant about bringing Gunslinger in. So I think it's going to get continuously pushed later on. And he specifically said that Gunslingers are going to basically have their own book because of all of the new things,
all of the other stuff they have to implement. Yep,
exactly. So it's like we're looking at guns which don't exist whatsoever, all of the different types of guns, you know, close range, shotgun style, sniper rifle, like all of that is a lot. As someone
like crafting for them, and like, oh, if you want to track ammo for them versus if you don't, like, is it ammo, or are you going to track like gunpowder versus pellets versus whatever? Like, how in depth do you want to go with it?
Yeah. So I think that Gunslinger will be its own book. There might be multiple classes of Gunslinger. Let me rephrase it. There may be different like styles of Gunslinger-esque, or like maybe there's like a gunslinger and a bombardier. You know what I mean? Someone that's like makes that aren't like alchemists, but like are like cannoners or something. I don't know. But I just feel like that's going to be its own thing. Based off of absolutely nothing other than speculation and their Twitter post, I'm going to think that it's going to be something that is more tactful and more like Inquisitor kind of style. That's where my thought is, because in the Twitter post that they did, they have a person that's wearing like an all black, like a jacket, and they're like standing over a board that looks like they are moving, like not chess pieces per se, but they're like moving things around on a board. And so it makes me think tactician, makes me think that it's like, it's basically going to be something that is like an Inquisitor. You know what I mean?
What are the chances that it's something that wasn't in first edition Pathfinder? I know that even like mentioning that is a little bit silly because of the sheer breadth of the number of like different archetypes that are covered in first edition Pathfinder, but like, do you think they're going to actually do a new class?
I mean, there's no reason why why not?
I'm not saying why not. I'm not advocating that they don't. I'm just saying I think that would be cool. Is like, so everyone's expecting something from first edition. Like whenever somebody asks me anything about what is next or what classes, like the first thing I do is look up all of the first edition versions of that and be like, oh, what are they porting to second edition? I think, but maybe that's not what they're doing. You know,
I'm with Nom Nom Fabo, which is Nom Nom Fabo says, I want a shaman. I think that would be so. Yes, I want a shaman. I want a shaman. That would be so awesome.
Maybe they're gonna make a necromancer class.
I don't. We're gonna get to necromancy later because that was a question that was asked, and I do want to talk about that. But I can see like a necromancer. Sorry, I can see like an inquisitor or like even like a battle mage, which was like an old class, or even like a warlord, kind of like. I'm seeing very much battlefield manipulation, and that's kind of where I'm seeing that this just based off of a single Twitter photo that probably is just like yeah, we got this art, we have a you know what I mean, like. So I don't know. That's my speculations on it. I'm very excited about it, but I think we should move from a future playtest to a current playtest that's going on, which is the Precog for Starfinder is going on right now. Which I will be honest with you, I just found out about it today, which is like it ends December 25th, so it's like, hey, 5 days to check it out.
There you go.
But I just kind of gave it a quick scroll and like went through it. It's got 3 different charts for spells, like not like kind of spells, but like how your spells work. So they've got one chart that is spells per day by spell level. So first level, second level, third level, fourth level, fifth level, 6 levels. So you only get 6 level spells. And then there's precog bonus spells based off of your dexterity.
Based off dex?
It says dex score.
Okay.
Which will give you bonus spells based off your dex. And then the third chart is the precog spells known. So it is a spells known, spells per day, and then bonus based off of dexterity.
What? Yeah. That's interesting. But precog, the concept behind precog is like a divination wizard almost sort of thing, right? Mm-hmm. Or am I like way off base with that?
Here's the flavor text. Through some cosmic event, you have come to understand the ebb and flow of time and degree that only a select few can. You can dexterously manipulate time itself, accelerating, slowing, or even reshaping timelines to suit your needs. Like, that's kind of the idea behind it.
That's interesting. I wouldn't expect that to have dex in it at all. But okay, I get it.
Hey, at this point, Starfinder has been out for quite a few years, and they've got a ton of Alien Archive books, and like they're continuously pushing out new classes, which I will be honest, I like. It feels like they're trying to play with ideas that aren't traditionally there. Like using dexterity as a bonus modifier is something I would have never guessed.
Yeah.
But I'm cool with playing with the idea of it.
Yeah, you know? I'm not saying it's bad. And honestly, this is something I think about quite a lot, is like, I wonder if they have a goal to like have every permutation of primary, secondary, and tertiary attribute for a class, right? If they're like, oh, the fighter is going to be like strength, dex, con, or whatever. And then the ranger is going to be dex, con, something else. Like, you know what I mean? Like if that's something that they consciously try to get unique permutations of like optimal ability permutations, or if they just say, I want to make this now, and then they just do whatever works. Because it always feels to me like they have a new combination up their sleeve. But maybe that's just a silly like thing that I noticed but doesn't really exist.
Sure.
Also,
So,
I'm just saying, after reading through this, I wish we played Starfinder more. I wish we played Starfinder more, and then I wish we talked about Starfinder more. Because I like Starfinder.
I do too. I mean, this is the thing, is that's one of the things that I want to run during those little gaps is Starfinder. Like
I want to run more tech stuff, because after Jake and I have been playing a futuristic game in the context of like there's like a computer terminals and okay, you can do it. It's your baby. I don't want to take it.
I've been writing a just for fun game that is like a cyberpunk-esque kind of thing. It's futuristic. Current working name is called Firmware. We've done 2 play tests right now. We're about to do a 3rd one next week, and then we're gonna switch Krug's gonna GM some stuff. And it's just a fun little like risk reward system. Like you have abilities, and based off of your use of abilities, instead of using spell slots, you're just increasing your risks of fucking up.
Yeah, so, this isn't something that's been on the channel or anything yet. This is something that we've just been doing in our home games.
Yeah. And honestly, the plan is to once we play test it and we feel like we're happy, make a PDF and let people like release it to you guys and just be like, here's what we made. Like, what's your thoughts? You know what I mean? And just kind of like share it with people. And it's not something that we're like, oh, we're going to try to make money off of this. It's just like, hey, this is a cool thing that I like had an idea for. Let's like play with it and see how it works.
That whole like situation, that whole like the playtest specifically, and honestly also planning my 3 sessions has made me really into the idea of like being in that futuristic setting, because I feel like it adds a lot of opportunity for things that doesn't exist in fantasy, like a lot of realism and a lot of I love the tech side of it, like just like making it's really easy for me to come up with situations in tech, because I feel like I just like understand it, you know, and I don't get to use my knowledge of that in Pathfinder or in D&D or whatever, all those fantasy RPGs. It's a completely different mindset, you know.
Well, and I'll tell you, like I was never into Vampire the Masquerade or Werewolf or any of like the World of Darkness games until about maybe like 2 years ago or so. And then I've been playing a lot more. And I realized that like what's really interesting about those systems is that you can use your day-to-day like just issues and problems that you have as issues and problems that your characters can have or go through.
Yep. 100%.
Which is really interesting. Also, Dayton gave the suggestion Q Punk, and I come back with, how about Cyber Time?
I hate both of them. No offense. Dayton, please don't leave. But also, your idea is terrible.
Yeah. So, anyways, there's some really interesting things about the Precog. They get this thing called temporal anomaly, where they get to make decisions at each level, where they get to like do a different thing. What?
Cyber Time sounds filthy.
Anyways, I'm gonna read a couple of these. I'm gonna read a capstone. How's that sound?
Sure.
So at 14th level, you get to choose one of the following anomalies: offensive rewrite. As a reaction, when you fail to hit with an attack roll, you can use a paradox to place the D20 rolled for your attack. Wait, what?
As a reaction, when you fail to hit with an attack roll, you can use a paradox in place of the D20 you roll.
I feel like I have to know what a paradox is.
Yeah. What about outcome adjustment? As a reaction, when a creature within 100 feet would attack you or an ally, attempt a caster level check or skill check, you can use a paradox before the check is rolled. The creature must succeed with the will save, or you can replace the attack roll or check's D20 roll with the paradox. Okay, really need to understand what a paradox is for this to make literally any kind of sense whatsoever.
Okay, paradox.
Focal paradox. Oh, you found it? Okay.
Yeah. Your unique relationship with time allows you to dexterously manipulate the flow of time at key moments, allowing you to know what is going to happen before it transitions. Each day, when you regain your spell slots, you also gain a number of paradoxes equal to 1 plus your half of your dexterity modifier, minimum 2. and lose any unused paradox from the previous day. Whenever you gain these or any other paradox, roll 1d20 for each of the and record the results associated with the paradox. You can never re-roll paradoxes.
Gotcha. So basically, it's just determining the result of a roll, and then your abilities let you add those predetermined results to a specific kind of roll, or a roll in a specific kind of situation, which is pretty cool. And then also, what is it? 1 plus half your dex modifier, minimum 2. Okay.
Yes, saying your dex modifier has to be 1, basically, because it's 1 plus 1.
Well, I think it would, even if your dex modifier is like -1, you still get 2, right?
No, but that's what I'm saying is that it's not like, it's not the minimum 2 is not half your dex modifier. It's the whole equation.
Right. Yeah. This is good.
Also,
That's not like too few of them, especially for how strong that is. If you're rolling in the extremes, like if you roll a 20 and a 1 at the beginning of the day, that's really strong. Getting a crit success and a crit fail on a roll.
Yeah, this very much reminds me of the Divination Wizard in 5th edition, which was probably my favorite class, because it was like, cool, roll 2 d20s. I got a 1 and an 18. Cool. Oh, he has to make a saving throw. He gets a 1.
And that was an ally too, so that's how you play that.
Yeah, so I want to read through this. I would love to do some more content on this. I think it'll be too late by the time the new year starts. But there's that. Then the last thing on the predetermined what we're going to be talking about, which is Pathfinder Society book and the Pathfinder Lost Omens Legends. So I'll be honest, neither of these books were really on my radar. Like I knew that they existed. But I'm not how do you say this? I'm really bad with other people's lore.
No, because it's hard to like the lore is fun when you get to discover it organically. I think that's something that we agree on, right? So if you have to, like in Skyrim, you have to like go out of your way to like go find a book and then open it and read through the book, and that's taking time away from you exploring the world. That's and some of those books are great, and I'm not trying to say that they're bad or whatever. I'm just saying that's not a great way of delivering lore. And by proxy, reading through a book like a Pathfinder 2nd edition lore, whatever, that's not the greatest way to enjoy lore, to discover lore. Whereas when you create the environment yourself, the world, like the Court of Corvid's world, you get to organically discover it with your players. You get to be like, oh, well, I need to do something with monks. Krug, what was your background with monks? Let's incorporate that into the world that I'm creating, and then I'm going to add these things to it to make it a fun story point for the... That's when it's fun. That's when lore is good. But reading it's just...
Well, and that's just us specifically. Like some people really, really do love reading through just like the WoW books that are just like storylines that happen. Some people love that stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
I don't want that to come off as judgy. I totally see. I honestly am a little bit envious of people that can sit there and read it, because that's, I think, how you get great ideas. And so it's a little bit harder to come up with that stuff if you're not consuming other people's creations.
That being said, I did want to talk about them, and so I did get both of them, and I was scrolling through them, not really going through and like, okay, what piece of lore do I really care or find interesting? What I did find was interesting ideas that different characters or villains or items or stuff like that would be really interesting to implement into my world. Or in some cases, like take the base idea and go, okay, I'm going to change this. I'm going to either add this or remove this aspect of it so that it makes more sense into my world. But there's some really interesting ideas and things that are in here that I like. And this is specifically the Legends book that I'm talking about right now. Like there are specific Legends characters that have different abilities, or they have items or like feats that you can I don't know if you're not, I don't think you can take them unless there's like a prerequisite of like, you have to know this thing for at least like 2 years or some weird shit, right? but taking that idea and taking those feats that exist and being able to implement them into my world by like discovering secret magics and stuff like that, I think is a really great idea. Now, I will say that the Pathfinder Society book adds some new backgrounds, which at the end of the day, you can never go wrong with new additional backgrounds, additional feats. Like, I like all of that stuff, additional ancestors. I don't think there's any ancestors in this book. I think it's just factions, how lodging works, and some extra backgrounds. So like that's kind of what this the society works. And a lot of that is like how to play Pathfinder Society, which I don't do at all.
Yeah, it's something I wanted to get into before COVID, and then COVID kind of just made me like stop. But maybe after, you know, after that whole thing is over, we can I can relook into that. I really kind of got excited for it. I was super into the idea of like large scale is the wrong word, but like playing with random people, like exposing myself to different role playing styles. I thought that would really help a lot with like coming up with fun GM things or coming up with like cool things to do as a player, unique applications for a spell. But
you're gonna expose yourself to strangers.
I don't understand why we edit these. Do you get it now? Do you get it? Are you happy?
So, okay, I did scroll through it real quick. There is a section on, there is some feats and stuff like that, like scroll training, which there's like a super cool like monk that's got like weird like flamey things coming out of their hand, which is pretty cool looking. There's also some sword training, and Dayton says it also adds feat support for the best weapon, playing cards / tarot decks.
Wait, like Gambit style, like throwing them at people? Is that what you're talking about? Because that would be that's like a meme and a half. That's hilarious.
Dayton says, "Yep."
Oh, that's hilarious. I love that.
Yeah. So, yeah, those are the specific topics that I wanted to talk about, just like real briefly. But boy, oh boy, do we have a lot of questions from you all.